Hey guys, today we are going to make broccoli beef and broccoli shiitake mushrooms, which is vegan. So both are gluten free and turned out really good. Never made broccoli beef before, but my husband loves it so much. He loves to order it when we go out to Chinese restaurants. It's a little more salty than I usually eat, but so the sauces are identical actually. Oyster sauce is not vegan. However, I used vegan oyster sauce with both recipes because they tasted exactly the same. I taste tested them, they were identical. And the vegan was also gluten free. So that made both recipes gluten free. And so, first, I'm mixing up the vegan side, stuck the mushrooms in there, which I pre sliced. Probably could pop the tops off and just slice the stems actually. So, we've got our sugar, cornstarch, baking soda, black pepper, however much you want. Then sesame oil and mirin, or that other wine, I can't remember what it's called, and water and sesame oil. I think I already said that. um, about a half cup of, I would stick with the low sodium tamari because it's a really salty dish. So marinate those for about 30 minutes and then got the oil hot in the pans. Don't do like me and cross contaminate your vegan pan. As you can see, there's splatter from the non-vegan side over to the vegan side. So if you actually had vegan guests coming over, you don't want that cross. And so with the meat, and then you put in the extra marinade. There wasn't extra marinade, so you might notice my recipe is actually double what I showed in the video because the meat soaked up the entire marinade. So I had thankfully made a double batch just because I felt like that might happen. And then the mushrooms, of course, had the right amount of marinade, but I only had half the amount of mushrooms that I needed for the recipe because that's all my store had. So I would just double it. Even if you're doing the mushroom one, the shiitake mushroom one, I would just go with the written recipe that's down in the description. And those are the captions I put into is the doubled recipe. So I felt like the sauce was still a little bit thick for my taste. So I took some water from my handy dandy hot kettle that's always on the stove and added it to that to just kind of liquefy it a little bit more and get it just the consistency I like. And of course, if you like the super thick sauce, don't do that. Just don't add the water. So then, I think it turned out beautiful and delicious. I love them both, and sesame seeds and fresh spring onions, of course, on top. And we both really loved it. And of course, we didn't have a vegan in the house, so we ended up just kind of mixing them together, and it ended up being broccoli beef and shiitake mushroom. But we put on jasmine rice. I always use jasmine rice. I prefer it over basmati rice. But it just super tasty, great leftovers. Added those carrots where you just kind of cut the edges on the outside before you slice them so they look like little carrot flowers. I love that. Just steamed them with the broccoli. But it was a fun experiment. Complicated doing both of them at once when it was the first time I ever made it at all. But I got through it. And my husband really loved it, and that was the goal. Thanks for watching.